Hey guys, my name is Ashley. I'm a writer producer, and I am obsessed with this novel.
Hey guys, my name is Kelly. I am a self-proclaimed book nerd, a writer, and I loved 7 Days in June by Tia Williams.
Hey y'all, and welcome back to the Books We Should Have Read podcast, the show on a mission to get adults who typically aren't into reading through the exploration of Black literary classics. This pod is an extension to the BWSR community, and you can find our complete book list for this season at booksweshouldhaveread.com. Tune in each episode as we discuss what we liked and disliked about these reads and whether or not they're worth your time.
Loved it.
Kelly, I was just saying offline that I chose 2 books to be in this collection. You chose the overwhelming majority of them, but 2 of these books I chose. One of them was How to Find a Princess. And right after reading that, I was about to text you and be like, okay, bitch, don't ever let me choose books again. But I am so proud to say that 7 Days in June was something that I added to this list.
I'm so happy you added it because it was our last book we added on the list.
Yeah.
Because you were like, wait, hold up, we got to read this. And because I think initially we were going to read The Perfect Find, and we got rid of that and added 7 Days of June.
And now we need to add The Perfect Find.
And now we need to add The Perfect Find back. But you guys, this book. So as you know, we are in our romance phase right now. I have brought Ashley to the dark side. She has drank the Kool-Aid. She is here. She is all in, which I'm excited about because as we talk about, romance is my favorite genre. It just gives me just the warm feel, like the warm, fuzzy feelings. The ones I always tell Ashley about, and she finally really, really experienced it with this book. So that's why I'm so excited.
I will say this, like, you can go ahead and consider us an unofficial romance podcast because I want to live in this realm as long as possible. Like, this collection has been like the beautiful escape for me. It has been like the thing because I just went back to grad school. I'm finishing my master's after a 2-year hiatus. Whoop, whoop. And like, I just know when I was doing my first paper of the semester, I was just like, it's okay because once I get to this, I get to sit down and I get to read my romance novel. That's what I kept telling myself. Like, the romance novels are going to be the thing to really get me through school.
Yeah.
And like, I love living here. I don't even watch television like that. Like, I've been watching My Wife and Kids, right? But I don't watch. Oh, and I've been watching that other show on Hulu.
9 Perfect Strangers?
9 Perfect Strangers, because I'm trying to figure it out.
I didn't start it yet, but I remember you saying that you're about to start watching it.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. But anyway, like, I'm not into TVs, not into movies. Saw Candyman. We can talk about that later. But like, these days, it's romance novels for me. I don't give a fuck about anything else. I'm not really on the interwebs. I don't really know what's happening in the media because I'm reading romance novels every free moment I get.
Welcome to my world. I don't even have cable in my apartment. I just have internet because it's like all I do is read and then I stream.
Yeah.
So like,
we don't have cable in our big ass house.
Yeah, see? Like, I don't have cable because it would be a waste. And romance novels, like I said, it's like, okay, you guys, treat yourself to something nice because I think that, like, we often forget, I know I do, we are living through an ongoing pandemic. Like, we deserve a little escapism. We're living through an ongoing pandemic. We're also living through global warming. Ash, I don't know if you knew, but like New Jersey, where I am,
the tornado.
We had a tornado.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we had a tornado and we had massive flooding for New Jersey and New York. The houses are decimated.
Kelly,
girl.
You know what? And I thought about that like yesterday. Like, damn, I need to check on Kelly.
I'm good. Well, so I was cooking dinner, right? So also, let me say that I don't know what my iPhone was doing, but it was not giving me no warnings because I'm sitting here cooking. I'm sitting here cooking dinner, My mom FaceTimes me. She's like, Kelly, you need to go in the closet because the storm, it was like got really dark and it was raining really hard and the wind was really blowing, but like it wasn't, that was it. So I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna cook my dinner. And my mom's like, you need to go in the closet. Like she was like, it's bad. And I was like, wait, is it? And then I like look outside, it's like pitch black, the wind is nuts. And I'm like, oh. And she's like, yeah, you're not getting the warnings. She's on FaceTime with me getting the warnings to her phone. I'm not. But it was also way worse where my mom lives. And mind you, I'm only 20 minutes away than where I was. And that's what's so scary about that tornado is the tornado went by a bridge near my cousin's house. And it was nuts. It went by a bridge near my cousin's house, but then it landed in this town a few miles, south of me. And it's just like, it was just so scary how like different parts of Jersey were affected. Like, so I was completely fine. My power went in and out. I was okay. There was no flooding. My mom was okay.
How was Zio? How was he doing?
Zio left me for dead. Listen, he does not like thunderstorms at all anyway. So he has anti-anxiety medicine that I give him. He has little anxiety tablets that I give him for thunderstorms because it really upsets him. He was in the closet because like in my walk-in closet, I keep his cage so he can sleep at night. He was in that thing. He had been in there. I was like, where is Zio? He left me. He was like, bye. So he was already in the closet. But yeah, so I gave him his little his little anxiety meds and he was good. But yeah, it was crazy. And then the next day, it was beautiful outside. Yeah. It was trippy. It was so nice out the next day. Like it was like perfect weather. Like it was like 72, sunny, bright.
Girl, I used to live in Georgia. Hurricane season. Katrina was the scariest one.
Well, and that's what was scary about this is it was like the residual of Ida, and it was like, holy snap. Like, so it was like minor, I guess, technically. But New Jersey is not used to hurricanes or floods.
Tornadoes, floods, none of that.
We're not used to, because we had Hurricane Sandy a few years ago. We don't have the infrastructure for it. Like, it just decimates people. And even now, it's just like those poor people who lost their homes. It's like, what does their insurance call that? Natural disaster? Because we don't have hurricane tornado insurance over here. Like, we don't get that, So it's just, but we're okay. I'm glad everybody's okay. And I say all that to say is just read the books you want to read, okay? Because just read the books you want to read because you never know, all right? You got Corona, you got global warming. Read the books you want to read that make you feel good.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So that critical thinking book that I posted on my stories today, there was a part in there that read me for filth. It was talking about how everyone has what I was saying before in a previous episode about like how everyone, just because you agree with their stance or not, doesn't matter. But everything and every emotion and every feeling and every action has logic to it. And it gave like this example of this girl who is very peaceful, believes in karma, and reads fiction all day.
So it was you.
And it was pulling apart even though like there's some logic into how she, aka me, how I live my life, that there's some flaw there in terms of ethical reasoning and shit like that. I won't get into it because it's super nerdy, but like I was just like, damn, but it did say like, but she reads fiction because that makes her happy. And that's the logic behind it. And that's all you need to know.
That's all you need to know, and that's all that matters. Is it makes you happy. It what brings you your joy, and so just do it. That's why I love romance. Like people are always surprised by how many books I read a year, or my Goodreats goal for book list. Like,
it's insane, Kelly.
It's not that bad, but
I mean, it's not bad, but it's insane, like unbelievable.
Oh yeah. No, I think it's like okay.
What
is it? It's like 75, I think.
Kelly, 75 books a year with a full-time job.
But I have no life, so
good point.
You know what I'm saying? Like I have no life. I have no man distracting me right now, which honestly I wouldn't mind. But it's just like, well, if I can't have any other distraction, and I need to keep my mind off of thinking I'm going to die every day from COVID. So
I'm gonna read these romance novels.
I was like, I'm just going to read all these romance
We
novels.
said all of that to say that we are obsessed with 7 Days in June.
Yes. So, oh my gosh. So obsessed.
Let's get into this character list. Oh, no. Do the synopsis. I'll let you do it.
Oh, you want to let me do the synopsis? All right. Okay, so the synopsis of 7 Days in June. So 7 Days in June is about our two main characters, Eva Mercy and Shane Hall, who are both writers. Um, Eva has a cult following in a vampire series that it's called the Curse series. She wrote the first book when she was 19 years old. She's now on book number 14 or 15, but she kind of feels like she's like at like her, like she's like kind of over the Curse series. She's outgrown these characters. She wants to start writing about something else. And she almost feels like even though she's like this famous paranormal romance writer, she feels like nobody takes her seriously in her field because it's paranormal romance, because it's not this, it's not these like very moving or like fiction novels. And she almost feels like she's not worthy in a way, which I think was like, it was kind of like sad because she is worthy. And then we have Shane Hall, who is the opposite of Eva in that his his books are like so well revered against all genres. Like he also has a cult following like Eva, but it's more immersive. It's more like people dissect his novels. They try to find the nuance between his characters and why he wrote this way. And the thing that brings them together is that they were actually childhood friends. They fell in love when they were 17 years old. They met in high school when they were seniors. And for 7 days, they had this whirlwind romance that only teenagers could have. And it was just so painful. It was beautiful. It was painful, but it was eye-opening, and it stayed with both of them for years and years. Like they are each other's first loves and possibly their only loves. And it's just so beautiful because these two characters reconnect after all these years. And, there's some bruises there and there's some hurt still there, but it's just their reconnection and them getting to know each other as adults is.
Oh, I'm warm and fuzzy. Oh my God. I just want to hug myself.
It is. Honestly, so this book, you guys, it took me through so many emotions. Like I was like squealing like a little schoolgirl, like giggling, laughing, the tears, the tear, like, and it was like the crying that's like not like sobbing, but like the tears just start flowing because it was so beautifully written. I resonated with these characters so much, and I rooted for them so hard, and I love Shane Hall.
I rooted for both of them. Like I went hard in the paint for both of them. Which
I just wanted them to get their happy ending.
Yeah, because I usually have a favorite character.
Yeah, usually it's like we usually like one character more. And then for this, it was like, no, I loved both characters. I loved so many characters in this book, but oh gosh.
So good. Oh my God, it's so fucking
Let's do let's do our character breakdown.
Yeah, let's do the character. Let's start with Eva Mercy, aka Genevieve. Am I pronouncing her name right? Genevieve.
I don't know. I wanna say it's Genevieve. Like, right? You would think I would know this because I actually, on my mom's side, is Creole. Yeah. So you would think I would know how to pronounce this, but I can't.
But the way that the breakdown was when she was explaining what breaking down her name.
When she did like the phonetic spelling.
Yeah, the phonetic spelling. I got Genevieve.
I did. I think it's Genevieve too.
Oh my God, Genevieve Mercier, like you said, is a writer. She her books are more so considered fluff, the ones that you could kind of do without, right? But the cult following, the people who follow her, are legitimately obsessed with everything about these novels. And this is how she makes her living. And she keeps churning them out because she has to support her daughter. So she's a single mom. She is divorced, has a very beautiful relationship with her daughter's father, which is like, speaks to me.
Yes.
Speaks to me on another level. But she also has this debilitating illness.
She has a silent illness, which to me makes it even harder, right? Because we as humans can be very ignorant to things. And it's like the idea, like, well, if we can't physically see that something's wrong with you, it can't be as bad as you're saying. And that's what she struggles with. And that's why she doesn't tell anybody about it, because she knows she'll get that judgment. And it's like, there's no way it's as bad as it is. And I thought that Tia Williams did a great job writing about her silent illness and writing about her struggles with it.
So Tia Williams, and the reason why she does such a great job with it is because she has the same thing. I know. I stalked her Instagram and I found it out. And I was just like, oh my God, it makes so much sense. But the way that she
because she wrote about it so passionately and so from a heartfelt place, so that makes sense. That
yeah, it made it feel so real. Like the way that I was able to relate to it, and I don't have that situation. Like it was insane. It was insane. Such beautiful writing. But yes, Genevieve ends up changing her name to Eva Mercy. Genevieve Mercier changes her name publicly to Eva Mercy. That's her pen name. She's a Creole woman. She comes from a lineage of strong, interesting women.
Oh.
And it just, that made me feel so good too, because that was a lot of shame that I carried with me up until recently, is that like, my mom was a young teen mom, single mom, out here in these streets when I was younger, you know what I mean? And then my grandmother wasn't the typical grandmother. Like my grandma can't cook. My grandma's like a fucking teenager. She's like my bestie.
She's a pistol. We love grandma.
We love grandma so much, but like she's like, she's a very unconventional woman, and I come from a lineage of very unconventional women. Not the like, my mom can't cook either, right? So it wasn't like I could go to my grandma's house and get
a spread, like
get
a
a
spread,
spread, like she
country.
deep frying chicken and stuff. My grandma's like, nah, what you want to eat? I can't. Let's go to this restaurant. Kelly, I went to my first bar when I was like 8 or 9 years old. I've been in bars since I was like 8 or 9. Like my grandma would take me and sit me down in a corner, and the bartender would just keep giving me orange juices. And then eventually it was me and my sister, and we would have orange juices in the corner and just be able to hang out and watch these old folks like during the day. Like when we watch these old folks like flirt and be in love and dance to the jukebox. Like that's a memory of mine. Memories.
It's so funny too, because I think about, that's how I thought, because my mom is not a conventional mom at all. She's very hippie. Just a very, and her mom wasn't a conventional mom. She was just a spitfire. And you like, it just made, I love that connected with both of us. Like we look back at the women in our families and realize that like, you don't have to be conventional. You don't have to do things that the way society says. You know, you don't have to be this quiet or meek woman who, you know, listen, like who just lets a man decide her role in society or her role in the relationship or life. Like you can forge that yourself. And it was it just made me so appreciative. Like, I loved it. And I loved that it's like a story within a story, right? Because you're learning about Eva and Shane, but you're also learning about the women in Eva's family and their vast history and their very complex history and the things that they dealt with. And oh my
It's
God.
so cool though.
It's so
cool. And I'm just like, I needed to hear stories like this growing up, where there were families who were extremely unconventional. Like, yes, like my mom and my grandma were single women, like, but like they were strong and they were powerful and they took care of their families and they did what they had to do to support their children. And like, there is beauty and honor in that. And that's not something for me to be ashamed of, right? But growing up, that's something that I just didn't talk about, right? Because all my other friends had the grandmas who like made them full course meals when they came to visit. Whereas my grandma's just like, oh girl, we about to order these crab legs. Ow, ow, ow. We about to order these crab legs and let's get some drink. Like, like my grandma's
Yes.
classy like that because she only drink. Well, she doesn't only drink, but her preferred drink is gin. Like my grandma.
I love it. I remember your grandma like giving me a whole like when we went on we when we all went on the cruise a few years ago. I was
Yeah.
just talking about our cruise last night to one of my friends and how much fun we had, and I said I will only cruise again with my friend Ashley and her grandma and my mom because we had the best time.
We listen. The four of us had so much fun.
Yo, and me and Ashley knew all the staff on that boat.
We were
'Cause
drunk
was
the whole time.
drunk the whole time, partying with all the staff at night, drinking, partying, just getting to know people. Remember we met that guy at the bar who worked for Complex?
Yes.
And you told him how they didn't hire you?
How they didn't hire me, and I was so offended.
So offended. Did he give us his card?
I can't remember. I don't remember what happened with that, but I think so. We made a connect. Like we met a guy who worked for Complex on the cruise ship.
And he was kind of like a big deal. Like I
Yeah.
remember like when he gave us his card, I was like, oh wait, Ashley. And we were like 3 sheets to the wind.
We were drinking.
gone.
You had me drinking Hennessy, and I remember I was saying I hadn't had a Hennessy since the day I conceived my son.
Okay. All right, let me tell you something. One thing about me, if they offer a drink package, I'm taking it.
Yeah,
and I said,
but you know
Ashley,
what? I will say from now on. Sorry to cut you off. Don't get the drink packages anymore. Just put the money aside because we were trying to get our money's worth with the drink package.
Ashley, okay, so this is my thing though, right? I thought of it from this standpoint. A drink at a bar, ooh, my bad. A drink at a bar can cost you anywhere from $10 to $12.
Yeah.
Even if it's a low end bar, it's 10 to 12. If you at a high end, come on, babe, it's like $17,
Yeah,
20,
almost
17
20.
up.
Yeah.
Girl, our drink package was what? 200?
It was three. It was three something. And
No,
I
it wasn't. Was
Yes, it was.
I remember when you Venmo'd me. Wait,
No,
it?
it was like $320 something. I'm not kidding because I remember having to give drinks. I remember having to give drinks to our other friends on the ship, people on the ship,
Listen,
because
you're better
I
than
couldn't
me,
drink
'cause
that much.
I think, but like do the math though, because I like even if you did. So say if each drink was $12. We was on that ship for how long? It was worth it to me.
Oh, we
I
were
spent
on it for like 7 days.
Exactly. I spent $300 on some dumb shit in my life. The drink package was not dumb. Like to me, that was worth it.
Yes.
So I was like I would do it again because I hate like the worst feeling is especially when you need a drink and now like I just think that you would end up spending more because this is what happens. You always are going to drink more when you don't have that
Is
package.
so true. You know what?
I'd rather have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
Oh, girl, you said a word, but we got on that because we were talking about unconventional women and Eva Mercy's family lineage.
Yes.
Do we want to? Are we talking about who we envision these people to be in the book yet or no?
Let's go through.
The characters?
Yes.
Okay. So, do we want to talk about Shane Hall or my second character is Audrey Zora Tony Mercy
Oh
Moore?
my God, are we the same?
We're the same.
I have Audrey Zora Tony Mercer Moore. It's my second. Oh, you can't see it on here, but it's my second
it's
one.
right
So
there.
you can go to Audrey because I want to talk about my baby's ass Shane.
Okay. Audrey is
Oh.
Eva's beautiful, insightful, intelligent,
Inquisitive 12-year-old daughter.
12-year-old daughter who is like me
She made me want to have
reincarnated.
kids.
Yes.
Like I said, okay, if I have children, I need an Audrey.
Yes. And Eva and Audrey's relationship reminded me so much of me and my son's relationship.
Oh my gosh.
Unconventional parenting, not really sure you're doing anything right. And like raising a kid who's free, raising a free child Black child in today's society who like doesn't understand the gravitas of like their skin, like doesn't understand how like this skin once upon a time held us back and still today holds a lot of us back, right?
Their blackness, yeah.
This culture. But instead, like they are so proud to be who they are and they don't, it's like the free child who doesn't feel pressured to wear their culture as a badge of honor. They're just them and they show up as them in any room that they're in. I hope that makes sense. That was Audrey for me.
Those are like the poetry reading
Oh,
snaps.
yeah, the snaps. Oh, thanks, Kia.
That was so good because Audrey, like, I love like this character. I just pictured this little girl who also, you left out the most important part, who is also
A budding
a little,
therapist.
she's a therapist on the side. She's at her white private school in Brooklyn, giving these little kids therapy sessions in the lunchroom, in the bathroom. They're coming to the crib and she's charging them because one thing about our girl Audrey is she know how to get them coins.
Yes.
Oh my, and I just loved her so much. And I just loved her love for her mother and her understanding.
So understanding.
And she like, oh,
that reminds me of my kid. Like, no matter what, like, he's just very just understanding. Like, I can yell at him and he knows that, well, I always apologize later, right? Or a lot of times in the moment, but he doesn't take it to heart. He's just like, yo, I know you had a bad day, Mom. or like, oh man, I know you're frustrated right now, Mom.
I gotta send you this picture. I found this picture in it's on my computer for sure, but I found this picture of him when I was out in LA visiting you guys for Thanksgiving years ago. He's like 3. He is 3. And he's so tiny. And I took a picture of him when, like, I think you were like in the shower, you were sleeping. He's sitting on like the edge of your bed and he's so tiny.
So small with that big old belly because we didn't realize he had celiac disease.
Remember? And I was like, is he gluten intolerant? I was such like an such an LA person. I knew, like, I was just like, is he gluten intolerant? Because he had that belly,
the big swollen belly after he would eat a lot of times.
Yes, but anyway, I say all that to say is just like, your baby is awesome, and I saw that picture and I was like, I gotta send this to Ashley because he's so like a little person now, and it's I just remember when he was like a little baby,
and now he's a 3rd grader. It's insane.
Oh my god, that's so crazy. He was 3. He was 3,
and now he's going to 3rd grade. It's insane. But yeah, these kids, super insightful, super free, just being themselves. And living their privileged ass lives. And I'm not mad at it either.
Because isn't that the goal? Like, you're a parent, so you could probably elaborate on this, but I would think as a parent, the goal is that your kid has a better life than you did.
Absolutely. And not, okay, not putting it in comparison to yours as in like, oh, I had such a shitty life. My parents did a terrible job, right? Like, it's not saying that at all. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, when my mom was raising us, the goal was to raise us to give us a better life than what she had. Mm-hmm. And that's just what you do. Like, and it's not to spite your parents, right? You're just always supposed to evolve.
You're supposed to be your ancestors' wildest dreams. And you can only get to that by making sure that your kid and your grandchildren, like, that they have better lives than the previous generation.
And Audrey Zora Tony Mercy Moore is legitimately her ancestors' wildest dreams.
I love that name. I was ready to take that name and run with it.
I heard that. I read that and I was just like, listen, she's meant for greatness. Do you hear me?
With those names? Yes.
Okay. That's Audrey. That's our baby girl.
So we'll move on to Shane Hall.
Oh, so fine.
So listen, the way Shane is described in this book, you guys, he is described as so beautiful that it's uncomfortable, that it makes people uncomfortable. He's got these I pictured his eyes as like a hazel, like a light brown, like your eyes. You have very beautiful eyes, like hazel, like light brown, like long eyelashes, this beautiful skin, and just like the epitome of beauty, to the point where people questioned, because he is this he's this world-renowned author, people questioned if he was even writing the books because they were just like, he's just too gorgeous. There's no way that he's also got this amazing mind, which is disrespectful on so many levels.
Yes.
But so he is an author. He is a recovering alcoholic, recovering drug addict. And right now, for the last few years, he stopped writing. He's basically like just stopped writing. He's made all his money. He's done everything he could do with his books, as he feels anyway. And now he's been serving inner city schools, acting as like a temporary English teacher. He's going around to these inner cities because what he's trying to do is he's trying to be that force in these young kids' lives in these inner cities that he wishes he had, because he had a very tough life. He grew up in the foster care system. He was there's allusions to him abuse at points in his life. He had nobody to love him. He went through a lot and was very traumatized at a very young age, and so he's trying to be almost a savior to kids that he sees as himself in a way. And I got the feeling that it in Shane's point of view, like he is almost in a way going back and rescuing himself. Like every time he helps these kids, he's rescuing or healing a piece of himself. And I thought Tia Williams, she was very subtle. I appreciated that. She was very subtle about it, but it was very intentional what he was doing.
Yes.
And
That
he
was
reads
Oh my God.
he reads all of Eva's books. He's read every single one of her
And
books. He is
Eva
a
has
part,
read every single one of Shane's.
and he is a part of the cursed fandom.
Yes. Yes. Oh, yes. Kudos, Kelly. You did that, baby girl.
Thanks, girl.
And then we have side characters.
Yes, our side characters. Do you want to get into? I have next on my list, Lizette Mercier.
Oh, let's do Lizette. Yeah.
So Lizette is Eva's mother, and this was a quote from the book. Eva's mother, and I quoted, "white diamonds and black drama." That was a description. That was a description. That was how she was described. Lizette Mercier is this beautiful, beautiful Creole woman who is she was just immature. She was immature. She had Eva very young. She was just an immature mom. And the only way she knew how to support her daughter was through using men, which Eva even says, like in the beginning, it was fine because her mom was dating these very wealthy men who would make sure that they were in these beautiful, nice houses and nice neighborhoods. But as her mom and as Eva got older, the men got a little shadier, more shadier. And Eva ostensibly was raising her mom, right? She was cooking the meals. She was telling her mother bedtime stories. Like when her mom would come in, her mom worked when Eva was in high school, her mom worked at a club, and they lived in this really ratty apartment in DC. And when her mom would come in, she would beg Eva for a bedtime story. So Eva would just tell her a story of, whatever, like off the top of her head, which I think is like a nice little tidbit, because it's like, oh, Eva was always a storyteller, like almost because she had to be, right? Because she was like telling her mom bedtime stories. But for all of Lizette's flaws, Eva truly did love her mother, but she also knew that like her mom was not the best mom. She knew her mom had her issues, and that frustrated her a lot. But she also, you love your parents, even if they're not necessarily the best, even if they aren't really a parental figure. But that was all she knew. They were all each other had. And
she taught her something. She taught her survival.
And that was what I was going to say. She taught Eva survival. Even knew she would be able to get herself out of anything because she's lived through all of this with her mom. And I just thought that, like, I did like that we got a glimpse of Lizette in the book in present times, because I was a little worried that we wouldn't get we would only see her in flashbacks from Eva's childhood. But I was glad that we got a little glimpse of her in present times and like the relationship that this mother and daughter has today.
Yes.
So that's Lizette.
That was beautiful. Next
Okay.
for me is Cece and Belinda. We don't have to get too far into them.
Yeah.
But like they are Eva's really, really good friends, and they're also her industry wives, I guess you can say. So Cece is she her publicist?
She's her publicist and best friend, yep.
Publicist and best friend. And then Belinda is a fellow author.
Mm-hmm.
And together they just make this beautiful trio of girlfriends who are there for each other and boss ass bitches
Yes.
doing the
Because
damn thing.
and Belinda is like a renowned poet. Like her genre is poetry, and I think that's also too. Eva sometimes feels a little because like Belinda writes very heavy poetry just about society and what Black Americans are going through today, and Eva's just like, and here I am writing like this vampire fiction fluff. But I think it's like because sometimes I would think that like Ashley, as you know, Ashley's my publicist. She's my editor. Ashley's my editor, publicist, friend. But I think a lot of things that I always feel uncomfortable about, or always feel like, because I desperately want to write romance novels and I start writing romance novels, but then I feel like, is this like too fluffy? Like, should I be talking about heavier things?
Stop.
And this book made me be like, no, Kelly,
Thank you.
that romance novel.
Thank you. Kelly.
Ashley has been asking me for updated chapters for a year. For like a year.
Kelly, over a year. Are you kidding me? And like, you're such a beautiful writer and your characters are so amazing. And I just love that, like, one book in particular, I just love that the character it's like her skin isn't a thing, right? She's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
And the only reason why I knew what she looked like is because we were describing the character, right? It wasn't because like her skin, she has to be revolutionary and like she's the first Black woman to ever, you know what I mean? Like it was just like she's just a normal ass woman who is beautiful and like is strong and strong not in a sense of being able to take so much, right? Because I think that that's like, do I want to call it a fallacy? I don't know. I think it's just fucked up for us to put those tropes on Black women, but she's strong in the sense of like she's a badass like person in this industry that she's in. I'm not gonna give it away. She's in this. She's just amazing.
We're working. I'm fleshing it out. It's like it's been a process. It's been a process. But
yes. No, keep writing. I've been dying for this novel.
That made me feel good. I've been feeling down, guys. A little backstory. It's been very hard for me to get through this book because it's just a lot of self-doubt, and I shouldn't. But it's easy to say. It's easier to say, don't doubt yourself, don't do this. But like sometimes you get in your own head, and on top of that, writer's block. Because I'm at a like standstill right now with that book.
I mean,
but it's like,
yeah. I mean, how many unfinished screenplays do I have? A gazillion. Some that didn't even make it to the screenwriting software. There's still synopses that I've created in Google Docs because it's just like, do we really need this film? Like, you know what I mean? Or like even putting now my attention on a docuseries, which I'm still super passionate about, right? So don't get that wrong. But like, I am so scared to hop into fiction because like, do we need more fiction?
We always do. As you can tell now that we're in romance, it's like you just want more. You become hungry for more.
Yes.
It's never too much.
And this like capsule of novels that we're exploring right now, like they have really helped me get through this. So we need it. Yes. Anyway. Okay, that's it. Cece and Belinda.
They're two
qualms
dope
with
friends.
Being a creative.
Yes. And it just made me, like, I don't know. I picture, like, when you get older, you'll probably be like a Cece, like a dope publicist,
you
editor.
Think so?
I feel like you will be, like, the one everybody goes to. Like,
you know, that is my aim, is to create safe spaces for Black creators.
That's what I kept picturing. Well, but that's what I kept picturing when I was reading. I was like, this is going to be Ashley when we grow up, because
when we grow up, like we're not 32 years old.
Well, I know, but we're still babies.
Yeah, we're still babies in this video. Yeah.
But like, I was just thinking, because you always are big on safe spaces and spaces for Black creatives, and just like you have that personality. Like I've seen you like where we could be in a store or in a restaurant and you just have that personality that people gravitate towards. And You're very like easy to talk to, and people want to start a conversation with you. And I think people in those positions are needed. So like I don't know, a lot when I was reading Cece, I was like, it's gonna be Ashley. Like
Okay, so when you saw CC, you saw me.
oh yes, 100. Like when
But yeah, oh, that's so sweet that you saw that, because I honestly thought that CC was like dope as fuck and like someone who I could aspire to be, but I'm not nearly as professional as she is. And that's what I kept thinking. Like I definitely saw myself in CC though.
I see 100%. And that's what I loved about this book is because like I was just like I love that I saw like little pieces of like my family, women in my family, my best friend, like a little bit of myself in some characters, and like I like that. I like when you can relate to it on that type of level.
Oh, yes. And even back to Eva, like I saw myself in Eva because of the relationship that she had with her mother's and her mother's mother, and then the relationship that she had with her daughter.
Yes.
As in like the relationship I have with my son, and like that it was just so beautiful. Like but then I can see what you're talking about with you and Eva too, with like not feeling too confident in like your writing. And then I'm like your Cece telling you, bitch, churn out the novel.
Yes. Just give it to us.
Give it to us. But definitely like in my career, no matter what direction I take after getting my master's, I definitely want to be the person who connects people to opportunities.
And you definitely will do that because you're just amazing at that.
Oh, thank you, my friend. Okay.
But who do we think would play these characters? You know,
Okay.
this is like my favorite thing.
Wait,
we didn't do it.
I'm gonna
We
go
didn't do this
first.
in a couple episodes. We haven't done this in a couple episodes. We didn't do this, but like it's kind of you guys when the feeling strikes us. Okay?
Yeah, it's just don't expect it each time. It's just
Not
gonna.
each time.
Okay. So I'm gonna go first because you always have the best ones, and mine are just like so because and I'm going first because I only have one.
Okay.
I only have Shane Hall.
Oh my gosh, who would you have play Shane?
You ready for this?
I'm ready. I got my Google up because I'm gonna Google them.
Okay. Michael motherfucking Ealy.
Oh my gosh, that is actually so good.
Is it good?
That is so good. I didn't even think about him. Where's he been? Hold on, what's Michael been up to? Because I had a thing for
He has this
him.
movie on Netflix with Kofi Sarabo. And it's called, I forget it. I started it the other day and it was just like,
Remember we were talking about Kofi and I think you told me like like
his poetry.
you just said, girl, just look at the pictures, don't read the captions.
Because girl, that poetry was just like, no.
Every time I see him, I hear your voice saying that, and it makes me laugh every time because
He's so fine. But sometimes it's just like it's like very rarely are they fine as hell and they make sense in the head. Kofi Sarabo is just like so fine, but like that poetry is like, we will not. No, you didn't.
That is
The audacity. Okay. Who do we have for Shane Hall, Kelly?
So for Shane Hall, you have to Google this guy. He is an actor. Okay. His name is Lamon Archie. Hold on. Lamon. Yeah, Lamon. Lamon Archie. That's who I have for Shane Hall.
Girl, let me see this. Hold on. Am I about to fall in love?
I don't know.
Oh, this is not who I thought we were talking about. Oh my gosh.
Soon as I was reading this book, I was like, this is Shane Hall.
Kelly, this is Shane Hall. This is our Shane Hall.
Shane Hall.
See, that's what I was saying, and I come up with Michael motherfucking Ealy.
As soon as I was reading it, I was like, Lamon. I think he pronounces. I hope I'm saying it right, but I say Lamon. But Lamon Archie.
Kelly.
Yeah, girl, you about to fall in love.
How did I live my whole life without knowing who this fine specimen is?
I just discovered him, not even kidding you, maybe a few months ago. I forgot how he popped up. Like, he was in somebody's picture, and I was like, oh my God, who is that? And then, so coworkers of mine always talk about TV show All American, like my old coworkers. And they were like, you gotta watch it, Kelly, you gotta watch it. I was like, well, maybe if y'all told me he was on there, I would have watched it sooner. I would have been like, oh. So Eva was tough for me because I kept going back and forth. And then I landed on, her name is, she's not an actress, but she's a fashion blogger. Her name's Sai DeSil. Hold on.
How do you find these people? What's her name?
Hold on. Let me make sure I'm telling you her name right, because I follow her. Scout. Her name is Sai D Silva. So SAI, and then her last name is DE space SILVA.
Shit. Shoot. Sorry.
She's a fashion blogger. She lives in Brooklyn. I've been following her. I've been following her on Instagram for years.
Oh, I feel like I've heard of her. Oh, wow.
Scout the City.
Yes.
Zio.
Yep.
That's like, I don't know. I thought that, I was like, that is Eva to me.
I honestly saw Tia Williams.
You know what's crazy is, honestly, after I looked up Tia Williams, I was like, okay, wait, this is her. Oh my God, do you think that Shane is her husband? Tia Williams is so beautiful.
She's stunning.
Like, this is like unreal.
It makes no sense how beautiful this woman is and talented.
No sense at all.
Like, how are you this beautiful and talented at the same time?
Oh my gosh, she's gorgeous.
Stunning. Oh, she's just like, this is Tia Williams. Like,
yeah.
What? Okay, yes. Yep, I'm here for all of this. Thank you for that, Kelly. Oh, do you have any other characters?
I think I just did them as the main two. I kept picturing for Cece, like, I was trying to think of like a dope, well-dressed woman. I'm picturing her with like a nice short cut that dresses well, and I was like, who would that be? Like, larger than life personality, a Nene Leakes.
Nene's beautiful, so let's not even. But no, yes. I made that face because that is not who I was expecting you to say.
Like, I'm trying to, because like the face is like, I'm looking for somebody. Like, I kept thinking like, well-dressed, short haircut. Nene, not Nene, maybe. Like,
I mean, I would think of someone who's a little bit more refined than Lanithia. And I love me some Lanithia.
Who would it be?
Someone who's a little bit more refined, who's a little bit more like, when you see her, it's like she's a woman about her business and not a spectacle. No shade, but like, y'all know what I mean.
I know what you're saying.
Like, when you see her, you're just like,
like, and you know she's getting shit done.
And you know she's getting shit done.
She's getting shit done. Oh my gosh, this is hard. I can't. You know who I pictured as Lizette?
Who?
Jackie Harry.
You know who I see as Lizette, and it just came across my timeline?
Who?
Tina Lawson.
The Creole Queen herself. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I love it. That's a good one. Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
Yeah, we don't want to infringe on your creative minds while you're reading these novels. But like, if you want to hold on to like characters, you want to envision them before you even get started, like, listen, we got you.
Look up Lamone Archie and thank me later, y'all.
He is so fine, Kelly.
It's those beautiful eyes. I saw them eyes and I said, oh my God.
It's and the smile.
The smile. And also just the description Tia Williams gives of Shane. So beautiful that it is almost, oh my God. Is there something you want to advertise on Books We Should Have Read? Email us at info@booksweshouldhaveread.com. That's info@booksweshouldhaveread.com.
Let's move on to these points.
Girl. Okay, I texted you and
Girl,
was like,
and I gave it to you.
because I was like, and I said, Ashley, I want that one.
You made sure.
Okay, so, when Eva and Shane reconnect, it is at a literary event that's being held in New York. Eva was brought in as a last-minute author because the author that was initially booked dropped out, and it was Cece was running it, if I'm not mistaken. Like, Cece was running everything. The author she originally booked dropped out. So Eva decides to fill in. So it's Eva, Belinda, this this man author who I don't remember his name, but he was
Super
so useless.
Hotep. We don't need to talk about him.
Super Hotep, yes. And so Eva's holding her own. Like, although she started off, she was very uncomfortable and nervous, and she was suffering like from her silent illness. Like, she had these really bad migraines that day, so she was just working through it, but she was holding her own, doing great. And in comes Shane Hall. Now, he was standing, the setup of this, you guys, let's break it down. It's a packed venue, and it's like almost like a hall kind of, right? So he's standing to the back just watching, and somebody notices him, and then whispers go around like, oh my gosh, Shane Hall's here, Shane Hall's here, Shane Hall's here. And it kind of makes its way up to the stage. So Cece, of course, Cece is also Shane's publicist, by the way. She is also Shane's publicist. Makes its way around the auditorium, and like they get Shane up on stage, and Eva is frozen. And she is just like, oh my God, like, are you serious? And there's just like this moment of, this is the first time they've seen each other. They've been avoiding each other, which is really good on them. They've avoided each other. They travel in the same Black literary circles, so to speak, but they've avoided each other since they were teenagers. So they've avoided each other this whole time, all that. So like when Shane comes up on the stage, it's like their first time seeing each other face to face since they were teenagers. And the tension is tantamount. It's like insane. But that is not where I lost it. Eva slipped her phone into her clutch. When she looked back up, there was Shane right in front of her. The room had been clanging with chatter, but to Eva, it had suddenly simmered down to a muted hum. God, had he gotten taller? He was so at ease in his bones now, so broad-shouldered, so much, too much. She reminded herself to breathe. She wasn't going to do this now, take him in like this in public. After their little performance on stage, they had an audience. Hello, stranger, she said, and full body cringed. Hi. Shane's eyes locked in on hers. Her stomach seized. You're fine. Just say what you need to say and get out fast. Do it now. Can you meet? Do you wanna? Sorry, you go. No, you. Eva refocused, threw her shoulders back, and started again. This was excruciating. Can you meet me at Kosciuszko Cafe, just down Eastern Parkway, tomorrow morning, 10 a.m.? Shane rarely did what he was told, but to this he nodded vigorously. Yeah, let's do that. Good, said Eva, and then she began stress babbling. I'd meet now, but I need to pick up something for my daughter's art project. Feathers. #mom life. Also, I gotta get out of this dress. Then she thrust a wad of paper into his hand. It was her number scrawled on a Hale and Hardy receipt from her purse, in case you need it. Shane tucked it into his jeans pocket, then paused a beat. Hey, I didn't know you'd be here. Not now. Honestly, you weren't listed on the invite. I'd never show up. Not now. Eva was supposed to walk away then, but she couldn't move. She just stood there, temples thumping, heart thudding. People were pouring out of the auditorium, making plans for the rest of the night, snapping pics, giggling, everything normal. And Shane and Eva were in the middle of it, being anything but. Acting on an impulsiveness Eva had thought she'd lost forever, she boldly leaned closer to Shane, narrowing the space between them. They were close, too close. One thing, she whispered, her lips by his jaw. She didn't want anyone over here. Before I forget. What's that? Stop writing about me.
Only Eva could have noticed the change in his expression. She saw the flinch, then the slow, satisfied curl of his lip, his bronzy amber eyes flashing. It was like he'd been waiting years to hear those words, like the girl whose pigtails he'd been yanking during recess all year had finally shoved him back. He looked gratified. In a voice both raspy and low, and so familiar, Shane said, "You first."
And they have this exchange, and she leans in and says to him, "Stop writing about me." And he whispers back, "You first."
Girl, I screamed,
Bitch,
Kelly.
I
Do you hear me? I screamed.
Oh, that was the hottest thing in the world.
When he said, "You first."
Oh.
And this is before we even know.
We didn't know for sure that they wrote about each other, right?
Like, we don't even know about their relationship for real.
We didn't know what type of relationship they had because, mind you, so the thing with this book is we are jumping back and forth between past and present. And so we didn't even get to the part in the past where we find out that they had a romantic relationship or it went to that level. And then she says that to him, and his response, that was the hottest thing.
Kelly.
Oh my God.
I'm like...
It was so like... at that point, I was like, I'm in love. Like, I was like, I am in love with this man. I'm in love with this man. And he's like, I'm going to be in love with this book. It was just so... like, and it was literally... one sentence.
But the fact that they were on the stage and they were dissecting each other's books and you could tell that they were fans of each other's work.
Yes. And they're going back and forth. And the audience picked up on it that like, holy shit, Shane Hall is a cursed fanboy. Because he knew all of her characters, all the stories, all the developments. He could go back and forth. And Shane's characters... and his books are all based on Eva.
And Eva's characters and her books were all based on Shane.
That is so romantic to me. Bro, I was like...
I'm uncomfortable, visibly uncomfortable talking about this right now. Because
I'm sweating. I'm sweating.
It just like, it hit different. When he said "you first."
Oh God.
It hit different when she they're like having this like, "How are you?" "Good, how are you?" "Great." "You're in town, how long?" "I don't know." "Come here, stop writing about me. You first."
Oh my God. You guys, when you read the book, and if you already read the book, that part, oh my God.
I screamed. I was screamed. My sister screamed. We all screamed.
It's honestly, like, I don't know why, but that I was just, there were so many parts of this book that are amazing, but that just set it all. That to me set in motion. Like, I was like, oh, this is the type of book we're about to be in soon.
Girl, I was just like, oh, bitch, I ain't putting this down no time soon. I finished this book in 2 days.
Same. The chemistry between these two characters and their like, the vibes, the relationship, the back and forth,
so good. Oh man. Oh gosh, Kelly. Okay. Should I have 2 points. So since you took my point, because that was the point I was going to get to, it was really about like, I love that panel altogether.
Oh, I thought that was so dope. I was like, is this real? Like, does this happen?
Yeah, it was so,
I want to go to one.
It was really cool.
So Audrey.
We're going to talk about Audrey. Yeah, the point that stood out to me that made me gasp, because your point definitely made me gasp, but this was another one in the book. Our sweet baby girl Audrey, we already talked about how brilliant and how inquisitive and just how ahead of her time she is. Like, that girl has been here before, right? She's 12 100%. Years old. She's a privileged Brooklynite. She goes to this amazing, I guess, liberal
private school. Can I just add, I love that how often she changes her outfits depending on her mood.
Oh, depending on her mood. Okay. It's all black if she's getting deep impersonal. Like, it's crazy. Like, she's
It
so
reminded me
amazing.
of like, do you remember Doug, the cartoon Doug?
Oh
in
my God, Pat. What was her sister's name?
Funny, Judy.
Judy.
Like Judy and like doing her spoken word poetry.
That is her. That is our Audrey. Okay, but baby girl is a good kid.
Yeah.
She doesn't really cause too much trouble with her mom, aside from giving unauthorized therapy to young kids. She's not really doing anything wrong.
Mm-mm.
However, she gets suspended from school. Eva gets a phone call that she has to go to Audrey's school and pick her up. And Eva is just like, what the fuck is happening? Like, how, like, what could have possibly gone wrong? This young woman gets suspended for giving therapy to another student.
Yep.
And she would post her therapy sessions, clips of it, on her Snapchat. And one of the students Snapchatted the conversation and the caption and showed it to a parent. And by proxy, Audrey ended up breaking up a marriage.
I'm sorry.
And so she walked into Cheshire Prep all easy breezy. Here, if nowhere else, she knew everything was right with the world. She strode the hallways of the sprawling Victorian mansion with the smugness of a woman whose daughter was the queen of 7th grade. Eva was secretly proud of Audrey's popularity. Audrey was a leader in a school full of overachieving, hyper-competitive alphas from two-parent homes with old family money. It took confidence to own that crowd, and Audrey did it by being friendly and empathetic and not an asshole. My golden child, thought Eva, sweeping into head of school Bridget O'Brien's office. With a bright smile, she kissed her daughter's cheek and sat next to her at Bridget's desk. The office was a nod to Cheshire Prep's 150-year history, with accents like 1920s club chairs and Edwardian gas lamps. Bridget herself was also a bit of a throwback. Tall and svelte, the 55-year-old gave off Hitchcock blonde vibes. With her back-combed platinum bob and belted Burberry dresses, she had two interests: lasering her crow's feet and ensuring that Cheshire Prep became NYC's top private school before she retired in 2021. Thus, she favored students who won titles. Audrey had earned all-state gold medals from debate team championships, plus first place at visual arts regionals. She was so golden, Eva had a standing invite to Bridget's annual holiday dinner party at her Cobble Hill townhouse. Audrey suspended, said Bridget. I'm sorry? I'm suspended, whispered Audrey. I heard her, snapped Eva, who was only now noticing the swollen redness around Audrey's eyes, and Eva's cameo ring on her left hand. Shocked, she glanced down at her naked finger. That morning had been so hectic, she hadn't realized she wasn't wearing it. Eva gaped at Audrey. What did you do? Audrey's eyes rolled up to the gold filigree ceiling, as if Eva's question, rather than getting herself kicked out of school, was the true indignity. Earlier in the year, we spoke to you about Audrey's peer counseling Snapchat sessions. Bridget's airy voice only just disguised her blue-collar Boston Irish roots. Until her freshman year at Vassar, she'd spoken like the entire cast of The Departed. But she stopped making them, Eva inserted hurriedly. She did, and Snapchat videos disappear after 24 hours, but a screenshot lasts forever. Bridget unearthed a file from her desk drawer. A few weeks ago, Audrey posted a video of her session with Clementine Logan. Clementine Logan. Eva feared where this was going. Her mom's Carrie Logan, the dean of students? Bingo, sighed Bridget. She slid a printout across her desk to Audrey. Clementine made an alarming confession about her mother on the video. A student took a screenshot, created a meme, and it's been circulating all week. Eva glanced at the printout of the meme. In it, Clementine was mid-wail with tear-streaked cheeks. The image was blurry, but the caption wasn't. TFW, your mom's getting her back blown out by your English teacher. Eva's jaw dropped open. Audrey sniffled. Bridget's Botox-frozen brows struggled to furrow. TFW means that feeling when, said Eva, I know. Mom has 24K Instagram followers. Audrey's voice was shaky but proud. She's familiar with social media linguistics. Bridget looked relieved that she wouldn't need to translate back blown out. So the English teacher isn't her husband, Eva asked haltingly. Jesus, Audrey. I posted it way before you made me stop. She wailed, her buns quivering. And I had no idea Clementine Logan's mom was a cheater. Mr. Galbraith, the English teacher, has been let go, announced Bridget. Bridget, I apologize, but Audrey never meant to hurt anyone. Perhaps, but she has detention for the rest of the week. Bridget smoothed her bulletproof do with French manicured fingertips, and the honors board is undecided about inviting her back next year. A miserable groan escaped Audrey's throat. Eva looked over at her beloved baby, the spawn of her loins, and wanted to choke her within an inch of her life. Audrey, can you wait outside for a moment? Managed Eva. Thrilled to be dismissed, Audrey escaped to the hallway.
It's not funny, but y'all, I was like, this is so...
She wrote, I gotta read this. That feeling when your mom's getting her back blown out by your English teacher. I died. I died inside.
Oh my God. And it's honestly,
she meant well. She wasn't trying to do anything. She didn't make the mom sleep with her English teacher.
And she also isn't the one that captioned that Snapchat. Some other kid saw it and then wrote that, and it became a viral meme. It really blew up. Audrey didn't write that. Some kid Snapchatted her, some kid screenshotted her snap and made it a meme, and that's what the parents
saw. That's what happened. I thought that she did write that.
No, Audrey, because Audrey's a professional. Ashley, how dare you? She would never. Audrey would never do that. Audrey is a professional. She would never do that to her clients. She would never disrespect their the Hippocratic oath, or what's it HIPAA? I don't know.
Exactly.
She would never disrespect their trust like that. So what happened was she posted her little she posts her clips on Snapchat, and a little snotty kid
ripped it
took a screenshot of her client crying and then wrote that meme, wrote that saying over it, and it became a viral meme. That's what happened.
The image was blurry, but the caption wasn't. Oh my God. Girl, when I read that, I was just like, oh, Audrey, because she means well. All she's trying to do is just help people figure out, she's helping people journey through their emotions. That's it.
If we can talk about Audrey too, I have a quote from her written, and I thought, this child. She's talking to Shane, and she goes, "Mom feels guilty about who she is. Make her feel happy about herself." Oh my God. Y'all. Because I loved Audrey and Shane's relationship. I love that Shane was so in love with, Eva, and by proxy in love with Audrey.
Ugh.
He loved Audrey so much before he even...
Because she's just a brilliant kid. And that's what he saw.
When he talked about how he would look at their Instagrams and see the adventures they would go on, their vacations and stuff, and how he so desperately wanted to be a part of that. Because at the end of the day, Shane wants a family. He yearns for it, and he's afraid that he's not worthy of that, and he doesn't deserve it because of every... when
he said that made me think for 2 seconds, should I be posting about me and my son on social media? I mean, I do, but regular people, people who aren't close to me wouldn't see it, right? And this isn't no close friend stuff. I have a whole entire Finsta. But should I be? Because I was just I want somebody to fall in love with the dynamic that I have with.
Well, and I also think, now that your son is older, you can have those conversations with him, right? You talk about his autonomy and if he's comfortable with that, because he's at an age where he can give his consent. The one thing I liked about you is you were always very careful about posting him, and then you just completely stopped because you wanted him to have autonomy. And I appreciate that, because there's something very even though I love seeing like cute kids do funny things or show their personalities, but there's also part of me that's also like feels bad because I'm like, these kids didn't give their consent. Like their image is on the internet forever. And
if it feels I can never say it, exploitative.
yes. And it's like I'm not knocking parents. I'm not a parent. But these parents that have these Instagrams or these social medias and they're just profiting off of their children. It's very like,
that's a word.
It's very like there's something, I don't know, there's something that makes me uncomfortable about that sometimes.
It's like you're teaching your kid to perform.
Yes. And it's like, it's no longer authentic because now your child thinks every time that there's a cell phone in front of them or any type of camera
they
that
have
to be this person. And it's like, I don't know, my dad would always say this. He would say, Kelly, appreciate being a kid. You're only a kid for this amount of time, very little. He said, you get to be an adult for the rest of your life. Just enjoy being a kid. Like he would always say that to me and my brother. So like I truly enjoyed my childhood because you have the rest of your life to worry about adult things and money and grown-up things. Just enjoy being a kid. Now I know that some kids don't have that luxury, unfortunately. Like they are forced to grow up way earlier. But I just love that Eva's trying to keep that aspect for Audrey. Like she's saying that. She's saying, be a kid. I just want you to be 12.
Down. Like I know you're so in tuned and like you're so thoughtful and all these things, but slow down. It's okay.
Yeah. It's okay to be a kid. It's okay to just chill and just enjoy doing kid things. And that resonated with me because of like what I see on social media or when I see little kids not being able to be little kids
or
like
be they're not able to be themselves and they're still trying to figure out who they are.
Yeah.
And that's when my little moody boy, some days he's like, don't take a picture of me. And it's like, okay, cool. And then other days it's just like, Mom, let's make a really cool video of me doing da-da-da-da. You know what I mean? Like,
remember his face when he wanted his YouTube channel? He would be like, hey, followers.
Hi, all my fans out there. He told me before he left to go visit his dad for the summer, he wanted 1,000 TikTok followers. And I was just like, what do you even know about TikTok?
Oh my gosh. And he'll get them. He'll vision board that thing and get it going. But the thing is, it's like he wants that. You know what I'm saying? It's not you putting that on him. And he's always been like that, you guys. Like her son used to tell us this, like talk to his YouTube subscribers, like when he was like 4, 5.
Yeah. 3.
Oh my God.
Teaching the kids about he used to call it diabetes.
Oh my gosh, remember diabetes?
Grandma has diabetes. Yeah. And he was learning all these facts. He was teaching the kids how to survive being lost at sea.
Yes, he was. Oh my gosh. So funny. So that's why I say, like, see, that to me, because that is just a natural, like, he wants those things, right? But I do appreciate that Eva is trying to say, Audrey, stop. Be a kid. You are a child. You are not doing any more. You're not going to have any more therapy sessions at our house where you're charging $30 a person.
No. Give them all their money back now.
That was so funny when she had to give all the money back.
She was pissed because she worked hard, girl. You making me give my labor away for free.
Yes.
What lesson are you trying to teach me right now, Mom? I can hear Audrey talking to her mom like that. So what lesson am I supposed to be learning now? Work for free?
The funniest thing was like how Audrey was so intelligent and knows all these things, but like didn't know like basic geography. Like Shane asked her something and she was like, wait, where is that? It's like a scene, and he's just like, look,
school kid.
And yes, and like Eva says something to Shane like Brooklyn private school.
She goes to prep school. That's going to be my kid. I am desperately looking for a Montessori for him. Like, I feel like this is his last year for a very long time being in a public school because I see what type of kid he is, and he is definitely a hands-on learner. He needs a smaller classroom. He needs none of this standardized testing nonsense that just stress. Seriously, when it's time for a standardized test, I don't even tell him. I make him, he gets a good night's rest. I give him an amazing breakfast, and then I send him off to school and tell him to do his best job. Do your best work.
That's it. And guess what? Like, honestly,
I don't care about grades and scores and stuff. I'm not that. I don't care.
it's so the pressure on these kids, but oh gosh,
To be great. And then I see the videos of the kids getting accepted to college, and I'm like, yo, the pressure that these kids.
What if you open that email and you got rejected?
We don't see those videos. Oh, we don't see those videos, right? Because those kids are probably on suicide watch.
Oh my God. It's so much pressure. And the thing is I love social media. We talked about this in another episode. I love TikTok, you guys. I am on there 24/7. Actually, I got to send you this one girl's TikTok page because it gives me so much joy. But like, I love TikTok. I love social media, but I also understand that there is a very thin line between it being an amazing thing, social media being super amazing, and also being very detrimental to our health and to our mental well-being.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like, it just makes me nervous.
Yeah.
Like,
these poor kids and the Black excellence, and like, I hate Black excellence. And I'm saying it as in, like, I love hearing stories of Black people doing amazing things.
The pressure.
I hate the pressure that we put on Black people to be excellent.
Exactly.
Why? Can we be normal? What's wrong with being normal?
It's okay to be normal. It's okay to be average. Everybody, this like excellence, this like the hustle culture sends me over
girl
edge.
With ease. I like to take naps. I like to read.
I like to do you know what I did yesterday? Yesterday I did nothing. I did absolutely nothing.
I did a paper.
I cooked dinner. I cooked a late lunch for myself, a very delicious late lunch. And then I had I made myself French toast for dinner.
Oh, you deserve.
And then I watched TikToks and then went to bed. It was amazing. And it's just like this idea that if you aren't working 24/7, you aren't going to get anything and you don't deserve anything. It's like, no. It's okay to take breaks. And I feel like it's so dangerous now because especially with everybody, branching off to being an entrepreneur or freelancer, it is important to give yourself a break because you are useless to everybody if you are in a brain fog, if you aren't well rested.
Did you see me when I was working 7 days a week when I lived in California as a freelance writer?
It's like, it's not good. And guess what? We all have to go through it. Like, I think about that. Like my first 5 years in corporate America, I worked myself to the bone. And then one day I woke up and said, wait, fuck this. I was like, these people will fire me at the drop of the hat. I was like, I will never get this time back. Because once you've wasted that time, once you've used that time, it's gone, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't, time is the one thing you can't get back, and it's the one thing we all want in the end. And it's just like,
girl, you could drop dead. They wouldn't wait a week to replace you.
They would have my replacement in my seat at that in 2 days. So it's just like, I really want to take a moment and stress that to people. Hustle culture, it is destructive. Take your breaks. Do not work. If you are currently working a job, especially in corporate America, because they love to just be like, oh, who wants to work overtime? Or no, don't work overtime, because guess what? It's not worth it.
And it doesn't make you a bad employee for setting boundaries for yourself.
And also, what I've learned is they already know who they're promoting, okay? It's either you're going to get promoted or you aren't. And honestly, do you really want to be in a company that in order to get a promotion, you have to sacrifice all your time and all your free time and your health? No.
If COVID ain't show me nothing else, is that like the things that I value are not the same things that a lot of these corporations value.
Yes.
I need my time. Girl, did I tell you I stopped taking the freeway when I don't have to? I take the streets everywhere because the freeway gives me so much anxiety a lot of times. I will if I have to, if I'm short on time or something. Yeah. But I leave now with enough time for me to drive. Like, I live like 30 minutes outside of Detroit. I leave with enough time to go the back roads. An hour on the back roads, leisurely. And that shit makes me feel so good. Like I am no longer rushing. I'm no longer in school to be celebrated or to do something that like makes me a boss ass bitch so that everybody knows that ow 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 I got these degrees. I don't give a fuck what people think about me and my schooling.
Isn't that the beautiful thing about getting older? I think that's the beautiful thing about aging is you really stop caring.
You really just stop caring. None of this shit matters. Grades don't matter. Well, they do in graduate school because because you know, if like people care about the grades that you make because then you can like after graduate school, I'm debating on what my next step is going to be, and if I'm pursuing a higher degree, then it matters, you know, the grades that I get here. But like don't let that shit define you. Do your best work. Do your best. And my professors, like they know that I do my best work. And my grades reflect that they know that I do my best work, right? It's like I'm not writing a paper to get an A. I'm only ever doing my best work.
Exactly.
Only
And
ever.
when you do that, the A's, the grades, they come to you.
They come. The rewards come.
I'm telling you, the best mental health tip I can give is just do your work, do what you have to do, and then go home.
And then go
because
home.
it has made me so much like love it's made me appreciate and like my job so much more when I stopped stressing about the little things. Just don't stress about it.
And that's what I try to teach my kid he has a lot of anxiety. He is in therapy right now for anxiety and his perfectionism. Everything has to be perfect. If it's not perfect, he's so stupid. Everything has to, and I'm just like, how did he even get that way? Like, does he not know who his mom is? like genuinely barely graduated high school, barely graduated college, undergrad. Like, I hated school growing up.
But
like,
they say that this generation, like these generations coming up, they're so like their mental health has suffered because of this idea of perfectionism and what they see on social media and what they see. Because you think about it, like we didn't have that, right? We didn't see perfect faces on the internet, and like all we had was like magazines, really. Oh God, I'm dating us. We had magazines.
Girl, you listen. You talking about perfect faces. There are people these days who like you only see them on the internet with a filter on.
Filter fully beat and studio lights.
That's crazy to me.
I say that as I have studio lights on.
I mean, okay. Yes.
But we have like okay, but we're like, you know, we're like level 1.
But I also do not have on any makeup. Did not bother to do my eyebrows today.
I'm a little opposite. I have makeup, eyebrows are done, but this is the first time that this has happened since we've last recorded.
Yeah.
But I just feel like
hair just back because I need to wash it and retwist. But
but that's the thing. It's just like perfectionism, and that's all these kids are seeing is just the perfect version of people. They don't see like the not so perfect version.
Ugh, it makes me sad. It makes me sad. But yes, that we went on this really. We went
on this self-help tangent, but it's always important to talk about.
But this book brings that out of you because
it does.
Eva's really just trying to create an environment where Audrey can be her best self.
Yes, she can be her best self and be comfortable with her best self. And also, I want to touch on like what else I liked about this book was that Eva and Shane, when they these two misfits, I love that.
Girl, that misfit love story. Oh my God. We don't even need to get in. I don't want to spoil it too much for y'all, but y'all got to read this.
Y'all got to read this because honestly, the tears, they started flowing. Like the fact that these two kids who felt so unloved and felt so undeserving of love found each other for those 7 days in June, 16 years ago, 17, however many years ago, and then they reconnect and they still have they still have those inner teenagers in them. And now it's like, And I also liked how the book ended. I like that it ended on a note where it was just was like a feel good. We didn't know what happened next. We didn't know like if they lived happily ever after or something like that. But it was satisfying.
It was the possibility of what could come next.
The possibility of what's to come.
Because, and you're speaking of the way it ended before the prologue or after the prologue? I mean, the epilogue. What am I talking about, Lord?
Oh, gosh. It threw me off. I was like...
Girl, obviously, like, Ashley needs to get her words together. The epilogue. Yeah, I think you're speaking of how it ended after the epilogue.
Yes, after the epilogue. Oh, and by the way, the epilogue... Oh, God. I don't want to read it. I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to ruin it, you guys, but honestly, this book...
We're holding up our books in the camera.
Yeah, you guys can't see, but we're holding our books up in the camera, and we're just...
Because we're nerds.
We're nerds, and it's just like how the book ended after the epilogue. I'm sorry. Like, it was just so... You guys, it was so good.
It was so good. Wait. Do you hear that? That silence could be filled with an advertisement for your new product or brand. Email us at info@booksweshouldhaveread.com if you'd like to be a sponsor for and have your ad placed within the Books We Should Have Read podcast. We can't wait to welcome you to the family.
Did you see the hating ass hoes on Goodreads who left like poor reviews?
Well, no, I didn't see that because
I was ready to go and comment in. And you know what? They were all Karens.
Of course. They don't
because
understand this.
They didn't understand like a struggle between two Black kids and like their
For them, what was it unrealistic that Black kids could have issues with drugs?
Oh, no, it was unrealistic that Black kids could form such a connection after such a short amount of time. They completely overlooked the trauma. I mean, it was a trauma bonding when they were teenagers, but they completely overlooked that and just tried to disregard it. And I was like, I looked at the profile.
Bitch, you're a human.
I looked at the profile pictures and I was like,
Kelly about to start fights in these
I was about
Goodreads
to honestly
streets.
Listen, Tia Williams, I was about to be in them comments on Goodreads going hard for 7 days in June.
Lord, Kelly, don't you dare get wrapped up in what these white women's say.
I did not. I just let it go. I just took a deep breath and I said, they know not what they say, Lord.
They don't. And I don't, you know what, honestly, I didn't see them. I didn't, you know what? I didn't read any reviews on this book. I only
read them after I posted mine. Mm-hmm. And then I was just like,
yeah, I need to get better with like being a part of the Goodreads community because I'm not a really good community member.
But you're just honestly, I just started like, leaving detailed reviews. Sometimes I'll comment on other like readers' reviews or like what they said about a book. But yeah, girl. But anyway. So what are you rating this book, Ashley?
Oh my God. Obviously, I'm rating it a 5-star. I'm giving it a 5-star. This was a perfect book.
Yes.
This was a perfect book. And y'all know that I can be super, I wouldn't say angsty, but I can be super, well, yes, kind of, when it comes to books and how things play out. And like even Kennedy Ryan's book, I gave it a 4.75 because 2.5 is like too much exposition at the end.
Ashley, the fact that you gave this 5 stars is sending me because it's like you don't be giving nothing 5 stars.
Girl, I do give 5. I gave Christina Forrest's book a 5-star because it was perfect.
Yes, you did. I should say this. You are getting 5 stars from you is huge.
It is huge. It is
because you don't be slinging them 5 stars.
No, I don't. And if I see something wrong, I'm gonna call it out.
If a book is too long, she gonna let you know.
I'm gonna let you know. If there are things in here that don't belong, I'm gonna let you know. This book, guys, from cover to cover, was perfect. I read every word in this book. Even her acknowledgments, because I didn't want it to end, and I'm probably going to reread this book tonight.
This is one of those books where you just keep wanting more. I just want to know what happens. I want to see more Shane and Audrey. I want to see Shane and Audrey.
I don't want to know more.
Because sometimes, you know what? If it ended so perfectly, it's like, why touch it?
Wow, they're so beautiful. The thing that I do want is, okay, the thing that I do want is that loving relationship that she has with her daughter. And that's what I want with my kid. And that's what I'm fostering with my kid, that type of environment where he can be safe and be himself, his best self.
I don't want
the trauma bond with another person. I love them though.
I don't have children or a child, but I thought to myself, I want a love like that. The way that Eva and Shane love each other through like their issues, and like because they each have flaws and they each have issues, and the way that they are fighting to keep that together, and the way he respects her, because you guys will get to a point in the book where, you know, things go a little left or sour, whatever you want to call it. And it's not, but it's very mature. It's not like petty. And they do it because it's what's best for both. It's like a situation that happens and it's best for both of them at that time. And it's just like the respect there and the understanding. And I was like, wow.
These things can exactly. It can be healthy. These things can happen, and it doesn't have to be this fallout, right?
It doesn't have to be a fallout. And it's like we can build together, but we also know we need to take time apart because we have to figure out how we're going to build this. Dog, this book had me ready to go out.
It's so mature.
Find my mans, but only if it's mature like that. If it's not like that, I don't want it.
Okay, Kelly.
So don't
tell me, what did you rate this then?
5. Girl, what? You know.
I was a little nervous. It's like
5. And I also have a shelf on my Goodreads where, what's my shelf called? Hold on. I have a shelf that's called like, Can't Stop Thinking About It.
Ooh, I love that.
And that is on my Can't Stop Thinking About It. I love when I read a book and I think about it constantly, or it comes up and I think about the writing, I think about the characters, I think about the story, and that is definitely one of them. I like books that stay with me. And that was, and the first line, I won't read my entire review, but the first line I wrote was, "This book broke me open and put me back together again."
Oh, Kelly, that's such a good one. It makes me want to go to. Can I read a portion of mine?
Yes, of course.
Okay. I cried, and I'll probably cry when I'm reading this.
Read it.
I cried when I wrote this. I highly recommend this one to anyone who's ever felt like they were a burden or too much to love. You were perfectly made for the right one. It could take 15 years to cross paths with them, but when you do, it'll be unmistakable.
I love it. Oh gosh, this reminds me of a quote. I was listening to a podcast the other day. Whitney Cummings is this comedian, and she had a podcast with another comedian. I forgot her name, but she did an episode, and they were talking about heartbreak and like losing a parent. And the comedian, her name was Jessie Mae Peloso. She said that you gave me really good advice. And she said, Whitney told her something as like, it's okay for your heart to be broken. It's okay to be heartbroken, but it's like something like, it's okay to feel broken, but make sure you break open. It was something like that. It's okay to be broken right now, but make sure that you break open. And she kind of meant that in a way is like, it's okay to get hurt and to be broken and defeated by things, but keep your heart open, because it's almost like in the way, like, don't block your blessings.
Yeah.
And I thought that book really spoke to that. Like, it's okay to have all these traumas and all this hurt, but don't forget that it's okay to stay open to new experiences or meeting new people. And this book just made me think of so many things, right? Like so many relationships.
What is meant for you is yours.
What is meant for you will always be for you. And like, just hold that. Like, honestly, especially nowadays, just hold that close and just, you guys, just read this book, you guys. Go read it.
And there's so much more that we didn't even touch on. Like,
oh gosh, you guys, this book is so in depth. There's a lot of backstories. There's a lot of different complex relationships between these characters, between Eva, her family dynamic. Guys, go read this book. It's phenomenal.
It's so good. Oh my God. Okay. We've been recording for an hour and 37 minutes.
This is our longest episode we've ever recorded. But you guys, please read this book. As always, give the book a read if you like it, if it resonated with you, maybe if it didn't, but just let us know. Like, you can hit us up on our Instagrams. You can write into us. You're always welcome to write in. I would love for people to write in and talk about books with us.
Yes, please, 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 please do. Leave us voicemails too, because I think that could be a fun component to add to the show.
Please leave us voicemails, you guys, if you're reading along with us, or just even giving us, like advice or saying what's up. We would love to hear from you guys. We would love to know who our listeners are and who's like reading books and what books you're reading.
Yes, even if we know you, please tell us that you listen.
Yes. Oh my gosh, please do. Because so many people, like, I get random texts like, oh my God, listen to the episode. It was great. And I'm like, oh, thanks. Like, that's cool. It's always nice.
Cool.
It's always nice because it's like, you don't have to like take your time and listen to this, but we put a lot of hard work into it. And so we appreciate that feedback.
We really do. It's not an easy feat.
No. It takes a village, literally.
It literally takes a village. But yeah, I mean, that's all for this one. We'll see you on the next episode of our unofficial romance podcast.
We'll see you on the next episode. And the books in this series, you guys, I'm really like looking forward to it. Like, oh my gosh, so far what we've read has been phenomenal for the most part.
For the most part. Got some stragglers.
We got, but in like we always say, there's going to be some things we love, some things that we don't really love, or some things we thought could have been a little bit better, but that's the fun.
Yeah, but we'll do the dirty work for you. So like, listen.
We are doing the Lord's work, mainly Ashley, because if I can't get through it, it goes on that did not finish list.
Girl, but there's a very rarely things.
Yeah, it's very rare. Like, we've been getting through it. So, but yeah, so guys, that's it for this episode. Excited for you guys to hear it. Be safe out there, you guys. And remember, like, you deserve to read romance. You deserve to read books that make you feel good, and you deserve to just be happy.
Yes. Do things that make you feel good always. All right, y'all. Bye.
Hey guys, don't forget to like, review, and subscribe to Books We Should Have Read. And don't forget to leave suggestions for books you would like us to read for future collections. This podcast is a Books We Should Have Read production with sound engineering and editing by About Right Media. The dope-ass track you hear in the background was produced by Ty.2. That's Ty, T-Y, .2WO on Instagram. Hey Ty! Follow Books We Should Have Read on Instagram at Books We Should Have Read to stay up to date with all the BWSR happenings. Follow Ashley at Bashwiser on Instagram and me at Kelly Likes to Read on Instagram. If you like what you heard and you want to support this Black woman-owned and operated movement financially, there is an Anchor link in the show notes where you can do just that. Any and everything is welcome and appreciated. Thanks for listening. Until next time, bye y'all.